Howdy, y'all. I'm Jay Cowboy Beachbot alongside here the outlaw Christopher Zone. That plus the tallest man to ever play on the gridiron. America's team needs to lose the red from the red, white, and blue. And a face of the franchise candidate is going to get left off the team entirely. All that and more as the Lunchroom Syndicate presents our completely factual, not at all subjective Dallas Cowboys all-time team. All right. Before we get to the makeup of our team, just let you know we are going to continue with our tier list here. For our players, we have 3 tiers for the players. Bottom tier, white tier. Players good enough to come up in the discussion, probably not going to be making the team. We have our middle tier, silver. We're going to get a lot more consideration, but not sure bets. Unlike our top tier, our blue tier, they're going to be making this team.
We're going to have 11 players on offense and defense, and we're doing it by position. We have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and 4 from what we call the alternate offense position, aka where we have the linemen, returners, and guys that didn't quite make their initial position as well.
Over on the defensive side, we got 2 linemen. I don't care if we're talking ends or on the inside tackle, just there on the line. We're going to take 2 of them. 3 linebackers, 4 defensive backs. We got some of that on D, just like on the O, but on the D.
Before we start in the positions, we always start with the face of the franchise. And with the Cowboys, there are a number of potential candidates out there.
Like who?
We have people like Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach.
Of course, yeah.
Emmitt Smith, even Tony Dorsett to a lesser degree, Michael Irvins, Jason Wittens, Larry Allens.
Really, they're all in the discussion, but really it comes down to 3.
Yeah, absolutely. We have
Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, and Emmitt Smith.
And really, Emmitt Smith, despite being the all-time leader in rushing, it really comes down to Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach.
Quarterbacks are the face of the team.
Quarterbacks are the face of the team. Mr. Staubach, he came from the Navy. He couldn't even participate for the first few years because he had to do his naval duties. And then he came in and put the Dallas Cowboys on the map.
Yeah, well, we agree that Emmitt Smith is on the backside here. Outside the house, looking in through the window, it comes down Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach. Mm-hmm. We differ a little bit there. I lean more towards Troy Aikman. You lean more towards Roger Staubach. Mm-hmm. So real close battle here for face of the franchise.
You know, Roger's as I say, he put this team on the map. America's team really came around when he was the nickname came around when he was playing inventor of the Hail Mary, basically, with Drew Pearson in the playoffs. But I have to acknowledge what Troy Aikman means to this franchise. Coming in, and the Dallas was actually pretty terrible before he came in. They were 1-15 his first season, along with Jimmy Johnson. They made the infamous Herschel Walker trade that gave them a bunch of picks, and then Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer. It realistically is probably Troy Aikman.
So that's going to be our pick for the face of the franchise, which is going to lead us right over into our first position here at quarterback. And we're looking at guys, we're looking at Troy Aikman, we're looking at Don Meredith and Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, Roger Staubach, Danny White, and no disrespect to the other names on here, but when we have 2 that are in discussion for face of the franchise, it almost doesn't matter. They might as well all be white tier, with the exception of Troy Aikman, who's going to be a blue tier, and Roger Staubach. Running back, Who are we looking at?
We have Marion Barber III, Tony Dorsett, Ezekiel Elliott, Calvin Hill, DeMarco Murray, Don Perkins, Emmett Smith, and Herschel Walker. Emmett Smith is obviously a blue tier, all-time leading rusher, 164 TDs, which is astronomical. Yeah, no, not much more needs to be said on Emmett Smith.
Next up, we have Tony Dorsett III, TD3.
TD.
And TD3 put up TD 85 in 157 games, 12,000 yards. Guy's a beast. He is a top tier blue. I think it's a very clear Emmett Smith is number one.
Yeah, Emmett Smith number one, Tony Dorsett number two.
Wide receivers for the Dallas Cowboys. Who are we looking at?
We have Miles Austin, Dez Bryant, Bob Hayes, Tony Hill, Michael Irvin, Terrell Owens, and Drew Pearson.
Michael Irvin is a solid blue. If he's not our number one pick, you better make a strong case for one of the other guys. Michael Irvin's fantastic.
Yeah.
Drew Pearson is one of them. Good enough to where if this were like the NHL, Michael Irvin would have had to have a different number.
Yeah.
Next up is the first Hall of Famer here on the list, Bob Hayes. The highest in touchdowns, the lowest in yards, the lowest in
second highest in touchdowns.
Outside Terrell Owens, sorry. Yeah. He's still a blue tier, but I don't know how to rank the big three.
The biggest thing with Bob Hayes to remember too is I feel confident saying he's probably at minimum one of the very few, if not that has this many receptions and averages 20 yards per catch.
So our wide receivers for the Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin, Drew Pearson, Bob Hayes. As we head over to the tight end spot, we are looking at who?
We got Frank Clark, Doug Cosby, Billy Joe Dupree, Jay Novacek, and Jason Witten. I'm going to be frank here, and not Frank Clark.
You fucker. You did that on purpose.
No, I didn't. I'm going to be just blatantly honest here. When it comes to the tight end spot here, there's some good names here, but realistically, it comes down to one man in this tight end spot. It's Jason Witten, and Jason Witten he's like third all time in catches, period. But we are moving over to the Alt O, and what an Alt O we have here.
We've been saying for how many consecutive weeks? Oh my God, the offensive line's so good. This is going to be our best offensive line ever. And then the next week we have another, and the next week we have another, and then we continue and continue and continue. And we got fucking tired of that bullshit. So we're putting an end to it. We're doing the Dallas Cowboys as the next video because this is the last time we will ever say this is the best offensive line we've ever done. Who do we got, Outlaw?
We have Flozell Adams, Larry Allen, Travis Frederick, John Gesick, Kevin Gogan, Zach Martin, Ralph Neely, Nate Newton, John Nealon, Tyrone Smith, Herbert Scott, Mark Stepnoski, Mark Tunney, Eric Williams, Rayfield Wright, Roger Staubach, Ezekiel Elliott, and Tony Hill.
Roger Staubach, got to keep it blue because he's fucking Roger Staubach. We taking 4 linemen, or are we taking a Roger Staubach?
You know, as cool as it'd be to have 4 offensive linemen, I think Roger Staubach is too good not to have on this team. And for me, he's the number one choice for this Alt-O. Next up is not a bottom tier. It is a Hall of Famer, Larry Allen, big old motherfucker. This dude, 176 games, 10-time Pro Bowler, 6-time first-team All-Pro. The dude was a man. Jay, what do you like to say? He had that man meat.
That's not me. That's Craig Rivet. You put this guy on hockey skates and Rivet is all over him. He is going to smother Larry Allen in gravy and serve him up for Thanksgiving. He loves having man meat. This is the most man meat that you could possibly get. And Rayfield White. God damn, we got a lot of blue tiers. He's a fucking another one of them.
Nate Newton, another blue tier here. Surprisingly not in the Hall of Fame. That one shocks me. I always thought he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. I know he had some like, off the field like drug thing. I think it was cocaine or something, but just was an integral part of the line that helped Emmitt Smith become the all-time leading rusher. Nate Newton's a blue tier. That is our ultimately we have chosen Roger Staubach, Larry Allen, Rayfield Wright, and Nate Newton.
Defensive line is up next, and who are we looking at over here?
We have George Andre, Greg Ellis, Charles Haley, Jim Jeffcoat, Ed Too Tall Jones, Bob Lilly, Harvey Martin, and Randy White. Randy White, another fucking blue tier, Super Bowl MVP as well, 9-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first team All Pro. Dude was just an absolute, and he was the inspiration to Zeke's crop tops. Bob Lilly, who's often considered one of the best linemen for the Dallas Cowboys in history, 11-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first team All Pro, 196 games, 95.5 estimated sacks. He's a blue tier as well. So our defensive line ultimately is Randy White and Bob Lilly. So really good defensive line group. And we're leaving George Andre completely out of the discussion entirely, including on LB.
Over to linebackers, though. Who do we have?
We have Dexter Coakley, Chuck Howley, Brady James, Leroy Jordan, Sean Lee, Anthony Spencer, and DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware, though, I think is the top name on here. I know you talk Chuck Howley, and he's going to put up a good fight, and I don't really know which way we're going to go here.
No, it's easy for me.
Ware gets my pick.
No, it's easy for me. Thankfully, he played a edge rusher from the linebacker spot and didn't play on the defensive line because holy fucking shit, how do you leave him off? Chuck Howley is a big name, though. That is a blue tier. 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first team All Pro, was just absolutely dominant on those 70s defenses. They nicknamed Doomsday with Harvey Martin and Ed Too Tall and Randy White and everyone else. He's a blue tier. Leroy Jordan, 32 interceptions from the linebacker spot, 5 Pro Bowls, Hall of Famer. But look at the helmet.
Got the fucking red stripe on there.
Not his fault, but he played in the 1 year they had that damn red stripe. But he's a blue tier ultimately, even with that damn shenanigans.
No, you can wear that. Fuck you. Mid tier.
Our linebackers did end up being DeMarcus Ware, Chuck Howley, and Leroy Jordan.
Defensive backs up next. We got a couple good ones in here, a few good ones in here, a couple great ones. Who are we looking at?
We have Michael Downs, Cliff Harris, Terrence Newman, Mel Renfro, Deion Sanders, Dennis Thurman, Everson Walls, Charlie Waters, and Darren Woodson.
Prime time. He's blue. He's the first name going up here. He's the number 1 defensive back to ever play the damn game. Deion Sanders.
I would have thought he spent more time in Dallas, but yeah, he's easy. Well, you're talking about some of our other Hall of Famers. Mel Renfro, easy blue tier, 52 interception in his career, just that 10-time Pro Bowler. Should have been more first team All Pros, I'll say that. Damn good.
And then we have Darren Woodson. When did he finish up?
Early 2000s.
Why do we have so many names on here that how are they not in the Hall of Fame?
That is, that's a great question. That's the one thing I know I've heard about Darren Woodson for a long time. He's an obvious blue tier.
Yeah.
Many people, myself included, think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Cliff Harris, a Hall of Famer, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All Pro. Doesn't necessarily have the interceptions to back it up, but he is a blue tier for me.
4 defensive backs for the Dallas Cowboys: Deion Sanders, Mel Renfro, Darren Woodson, Cliff Harris. Off to the Alt-D, and we have 2 players available: Ed Too Tall Jones and Harvey Martin. Ed Too Tall Jones. All right, you motherfucker. You left him off last time. The first time we did this, you left him off. He's not being left off this time. It's Ed Too Tall Jones. He's fucking blue tier.
He is blue tier, but it's gonna be a tough argument for him. He was the off D last time. And part of the reason why it's so tough
And
for him.
Outlaws here going through one and keep Ed Too Tall Jones off the fucking starting lineup. Harvey Martin, man, he's another one. Jesus Christ, what the hell's going on here with Dallas and their line? It's not just on the offensive side, it's on the defensive side as well. We have another blue tier. So I wonder who we're going to put up there. Oh, it's going to be Ed Too Tall Jones and Harvey Martin. So who are we looking at on our offensive lineup?
Well, on offense, we have at starting QB Troy Aikman with a backfield of Emmitt Smith and Tony Dorsett, and he's going to be throwing the ball to Michael Irvin, Drew Pearson, and Bob Hayes. And when he needs a safety outlet, he's got one of the best that's ever done it in Jason Witten. And on the line, he's going to have Larry Allen, Rayfield White, and Nate Newton protecting him. And if something happens to Troy, we got Roger Staubach waiting in the wings.
On the defensive side, up front, we have Randy White, Bob Lilly, Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin. In our classic 4-3 defense, we have DeMarcus Ware, Chuck Howley, and Leroy Jordan at linebacker with Deion Sanders, Mel Renfro, Darren Woodson, and Cliff Harris at our defensive backs.
All right. And that is our Dallas Cowboy all-time team. Our first attempt. First try.
Oh, yeah. Hey, so did you notice something?
No.
The hat made it the whole time.
Holy shit, did the hat made it the whole time.
My head hurts.
I
Look at
was
that line.
Oh my god, damn, dude. Salute you for that. Holy shit.
From the Outlaw and Jay Bebop. What?
Cowboy Bebop. Beach Bop.
Jay Cowboy Beach Bop. We want to thank you for joining us here at the Lunchroom Syndicate for another one of our all-time teams. Make sure you stop back, check out our other videos. And until next time, deuces.
Try number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Try number 3.
It's been a journey, y'all.